The arrival is big news in the town, and so the adventurers are there to see the clerics step off the boat, and they are led by a familiar face, Zeno, the cleric who had healed Foefire when she was brought, with lycanthropy, to the shrine. Zeno steps off the boat, all dressed in black, tall and thin. Tall, at least. And he looks at the assembled crowd, the mayor, Sir Trevor, other important figures in the town, as well as the adventurers. Hello, I am Zeno. Sorry, someone asked me to make Zeno's voice like the impressive bishop from The Princess Bride, but I don't think I can do that. Greetings, I am Zeno, cleric of Marnock's shrine. There are familiar faces here today, he says, recognizing the adventurers. Young lady, are you the source of this outbreak of lycanthropy? They assure him that she is not, although, well, we'll get to that later. The mayor greets them, introduces himself and some of the other members of the village, and then says, I'm sure you would like to refresh yourself after your journey and rest a bit. I invite you to a meal at my home this evening. In the meantime, Parson Supple here will show you to your quarters at the church. These clerics are going to be living in some of the same old monastic cells which the characters have been using as a home base for a while now. While they are there, the characters approach them. They all stay at the same place, after all, and the players are interested in knowing if any of them contracted lycanthropy. Some of them were brought down below half hit points, but some of that damage was done using weapons in the hands of lycanthropes. Some of it was done by weapons in the hands of villagers, and some of it was claw and tooth, and they don't know exactly how much damage was done by each. They weren't keeping track at the time, and I discourage that anyway, because a real person involved in that doesn't know how many points of damage a bite takes versus a slash of a sword, right? So I don't encourage them to keep track of all that during the battle. At any rate, they do approach the clerics and say, I know you're going to be very busy here. I know you're going to have a lot of people to see, but we've had some bad experiences with lycanthropy, and we're wondering if you can tell us if any of us have been infected. We battled the werewolves more than anyone else in town. We're wondering if you can let us know. The visiting clerics agree to do so. They quickly examine all of the adventurers and find that no, indeed, none of them contracted lycanthropy this time. It was, again, that combination of weapons and claws and teeth. Anyhow, that evening they all attend a meal at the mayor's house. During the meal, the mayor explains the situation, what had happened from his perspective. The adventurers chip in and relate what they knew and what they had done. Sir Trevor and Molly explain what had happened with them, etc. They bring the visitors up to speed on the scale of the problem. The mayor is careful to heap praises on the adventurers, to mention their bravery, how much they had done for the town. And it's noted by the players. They actually notice how much the mayor is congratulating them and praising them. I play it up. I go a bit overboard with it. Okay, there's a reason for this. After the dinner, Parson Supple takes the clerics back to the church. But the adventurers remain. The mayor calls them over. Excuse me, may I speak with you? Fleetwood, Foefire, Bob Johnny, Touchberry. May I have a word? Yes, Mayor, what is it? There is trouble brewing in this village. I don't know if you have noticed, but there are rumors swirling and grumblings. What sort of grumblings? What are you talking about? It pains me to tell you this. Some of our villagers, not all, and not a majority by any means, but some of them are beginning to wonder if you were not the cause of their troubles. What do you mean, the cause of their troubles? It is noticed that you went adventuring and you discovered a nest of kobolds and gnolls, and shortly afterward kobolds and gnolls attacked our village. Then you went adventuring north and encountered werewolves, and shortly after werewolves invaded our village. Some are saying that at the best you are more trouble than you're worth, and at the worst that you're the trouble. Now it makes sense to them why the mayor was praising them so highly during the meal. He's attempting to do damage control on their behalf because he knows their value to the village. Oh, okay. Well, what can we do? My advice, and this is difficult advice because you just returned to us after a long absence, but my advice is that while the clerics are here in town doing their investigation and their healing, that you leave the village. Just for a time. Just until things settle down. People are very anxious right now, even paranoid. I do not want any of that to come home to you. I wish to avoid unpleasantness, if possible. We have been through enough. The adventurers see the wisdom in this, but where are they going to go? I have received a communication from Lord Cormac, the Count of Kilmarnock, as you know. He sent it